first point, if end clients have to make that decision, we've got to decide who is the decision-making end client. And the point I want to make here is the difference between filling a role and a genuinely outsourced third-party service. So if you've got an end client saying, I want a business analyst, a project manager, a tester, whatever it might be, if that's what they're requiring, they will have to make the decision and determine whether that engagement is inside or outside of IR35. If, however, it's a genuinely outsourced service, so it could be a business outsourcing its IT or its HR or even the catering, if it's a genuinely outsourced service and the outsourcer then says, well, hang on a minute, I don't have employees to deal with all of this, I do need to engage contractors, then that third party will be the end client for the purposes of IR35. And this is then where the waters start to get muddy, because just to give an example, we were approached by a consultancy that was doing work for a utility company that was absolutely used to engaging contractors. So initially they turned around to the consultancy and said, well, for this sort of engagement, we'd probably expect a project manager, a couple of business analysts, etc., etc., etc. Well, if that was the approach they were taking and saying to the consultancy, so make sure you find me all of those to complete this engagement, then they should be making the decision, they should be issuing the status determination statement and everything that goes with it. What actually the consultancy needed to be doing, or would need to do in future, is to say, yes, we're delighted to take on this piece of work, and this is how we're going to resource it. So you can expect these people to be turning up on your site, but we've decided that. And as I say, this is where we then start to muddy the waters, because as a lot of people will be aware, there is an exemption for small companies, and these are companies that can tick 2 of the 3 boxes that you see as bullet points on the slide. And of course, what is happening is that some end clients are engaging small consultancies for this outsourced piece of work, but because the small companies are actually exempt from making the decision, the beauty from both the small company's point of view and of course from the end client is neither has the decision-making responsibilities. That now, or I should say, continues to fall upon you as contractors. So you're going to have to make the decision and you will have the liability. Now, HMRC are very proud of this exemption because they say it takes 1.5 million businesses out of the frame. But I think, as I said already, I don't think it provides the clarity, because I think it's inviting people to try and avoid making these decisions by engaging a small consultancy. HMRC are already onto the fact that there might be some really large businesses out there that think we'll set up a small company to actually engage our contractors. Well, I'm afraid that won't wash, because they will look at it as a group. The other exemption, which is the last bullet point on the slide, is overseas clients. So if you are engaged by a business that is wholly overseas, so it has no UK presence at all, then there is no way that HMRC can make that business determine whether your engagement is inside or outside of IR35. They don't have the remit, they don't have the authority. So all they can do is ask basically the first intermediary to deal with that particular issue. That's going to be your company in the vast majority of cases. So from that point of view, you again will retain the decision-making responsibility. So there are situations where you will retain the responsibility and the liability, but I guess in 95% of cases it will be end clients that are making that decision.